Hey, all right, everybody. What's up, Jay?
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Good. Hey, it's the Dynasty Owner Livestream. I forgot the background, so we'll throw that on. There you go. All right. I'm operating in the control stick because Tim's a little busy right now, so we're going to wing it. But we have an exciting show today. I think it's going to be exciting, Jay. We're going to do a live mock draft. We've got 12 people who are ready and willing to participate and help us out to do this. So we're going to try to have some big fun with that. I am right now, currently, I am sitting here entering the names into a mock draft randomizer so that we can randomly have our picks and we can do the mock draft. It's going to be in a little while, so people have time to tune in and check it out because Tim is, like I said, Tim's unavailable until at least until after about 4:30. So we're going to do that then. So other than that, what's going on, Jay?
Not much. It's a beautiful day here in Ohio.
I was just going to say you're rocking a tank top today.
Yeah, it's a hot one out there. Just been out riding the motorcycle around and looking at rookies, really.
Yes, I saw you got a motorcycle. That was on. If people don't follow Jay on Twitter, we should put your Twitter handle on there. It's at @JPoundsNFL. And I think at some point you posted a picture of your motorcycle. So
yeah,
very good, very good. All right. Well, I know nothing about motorcycles, so that conversation. My neighbor has an Indian, and that's about all I know about motorcycles. And so that's
I don't know a whole lot. I just like to ride them.
as long as you know how to ride them, that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably the most important thing I would think. So, all right. So that's the thing. We're going to do the 3-round rookie mock draft here on Dynasty Owner. So it's going to have the salaries and everything. But first, usually what we do is we go over some contract news. I was kind of looking right now to see if there was contract news. And honestly, there's nothing. The 2 pieces of news I have is that Sony Michel signed with the Dolphins. Why the Dolphins need yet another running back is a great question. But he signed with them, and the contract is to be determined. It's not listed yet unless it's been posted in the last few minutes. And then Mike Davis got released by Atlanta and picked up by Baltimore, which is interesting. I don't know about the contract implications yet. I think they waited till they didn't have to pay his $2.75 million contract. So if you're a Mike Davis owner like myself, I'm hoping that it's like a veteran minimum salary, so it's a little over $1 million. So, because I'll keep him for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you there, especially with the way Baltimore runs the ball. You know, it's as much as I hate to say it, it's almost inevitable that somebody goes down with injury at some point in the season in that backfield. So he should get a look at some point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So we'll see. I mean, he did pretty good when he subbed for Christian McCaffrey back in Carolina 2 years ago. I mean, he didn't do well in Atlanta last year, but I mean, the Baltimore line, Latavius Murray was like a decent flex fill-in starter for people last year. So, I don't think it's a bad move. So we'll see, especially if Dobbins and or Gus Edwards isn't ready at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And it's definitely possible with the injuries they had. Both of them missed the entire season, so it wouldn't be a crazy scenario to see something come up in their rehab process.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think I forgot to do the important things, which is, hey, everybody, Dynasty Owner Livestream. Smash the like button, please, if you're watching. Hit us up in the chat. We're gonna have a dozen people drafting. I've got the list, but I need to, I kind of had it and then I lost it, and then I had to run and grab Shane out of school and blah blah blah. So I'm a little scrambled on this, but that's okay because we got a little bit of time before we do that. So the other thing, so contract news. It's funny. I was looking up contract news because I saw a bunch of players that signed, and I was like, "Oh, we'll see who signed." So Aiden Hutchinson signed with the Detroit. Doesn't matter for us. Sauce Gardner signed with the Jets. Doesn't matter for us. And then no position player, nobody in the Dynasty Owner rookie pool until the 5th round has signed. So while there's been a bunch of signings, it's everybody drafted in the 5th round or later. So the quote unquote best player that you can have and has a real salary right now is Sam Howell, who was the first pick of the 5th round.
Yeah, it's funny to me that these contracts don't come in quicker than they do, especially with the draft almost being slotted for your salary. It just blows my mind that there's that much trouble with contract negotiations and things like that.
Well, it's funny because I remember last year, Zach Wilson didn't sign until into training camp.
Yeah.
And it's like, isn't this set? I mean, I'm sure there's things that they can tinker with, like things that are minor, but like the salary, I think, is set. I'm sure that, I'm sure there's nothing like, they're negotiating whether he pays 80% of his healthcare or 85% of his healthcare. I'm going to assume that those type of things don't factor into these negotiations too much. When I used to be employed, you could negotiate like, oh, I'd rather have 90% and can I have the HMO? But I'm sure that's all kind of set up in the standard contract. But yeah, so what were the Jets and Zach Wilson arguing about last year? I don't get it.
The only thing that comes to mind is guaranteed money and signing bonus. Other than that, nothing else makes sense.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm with you. So yeah, so we'll see. I'm sitting here trying to remember the people who offered to be in our draft. I got 2 more spots that I need to fill. I did fill them. I just can't remember the people. So that's what happens. That's what happens when you get older. So, all right. Here we go. I'll put Bryce's comment. But if I was okay, so Bryce says, and it's on the screen, offset language is one issue with it. If a player is cut, the money will make a new team reduces what the old team owes the player. Okay, I can see that as an issue, but if I'm the number 2 pick in the NFL draft, I'm not kind of arguing too strongly about language if I get cut, because I'm kind of thinking that I shouldn't really be cut. Now, maybe, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an NFL player. I'm not an agent. I'm not any of those things, but I don't know. I'd have a wee bit of confidence in my capabilities and be like, yeah, I'm not getting cut. I don't need to worry about that language.
Right. I don't know if you've seen yet in the draft lobby, but Jet Chip Wasp is in there.
Okay. Yep. He's one of the people.
Okay.
Yep. So actually, that's who I forgot. So, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to add those in. So yeah. So we have the slots, but we are going to allow. We're going to do a draft for it because let's face it. Who would much rather have the number 1 pick in this than the number 12? So not that we're playing for anything here, but I guess we're playing for pride, and we're playing for. Personally, I think I'm playing for if anybody else wants to join, you can happy to have my slot. But if I'm in this, I'm doing it for the adulation of like Evan Eckert, frankly. So I want somebody to say, "Oh, who nailed that rookie draft out of the park? Steve." So
yep. That's the fun part about mock drafts. If they stink, you don't have to reference them. If you hit, yeah, they're gold.
Exactly. We're not going to start up a league with these 3 players, I don't think.
No, I hope not.
Probably not.
It'd be a little boring.
Yeah, exactly. Be a little tough to run. So, anyways, all right. So, contract. Last thing on contract is I don't know if a lot of you have joined, like I've looked at a mock draft or done a mock draft or anything like that. You might be wondering, hey, why is Carson Strong like at $1 million? Or there might be some favorite guy who didn't get drafted who you think is a real sleeper and you're going to take in that 25th round. Be patient. Some of these contracts are not out yet. They're either not out or they've just gotten out. And so we need time to load them in. And there's some back end stuff that has to be done as well. So, like I said, I think last week, if you're my fantasy league or sleeper or something like that, all you got to do is go Carson Strong, Eagles, upload, it's set. We have to actually have a salary and the number of years and other things. So it's a little bit more of an involved process. So we're working on it as fast as we can. Since I'm one of the people working on it, I'm doing it as fast as I can. So, but the contracts are usually the holdup because, there'll be a lot of times where there's somebody for the Broncos backup tight end who signed over a week ago and his contract information is still blank. So we can't change anything on him until it's actually done because, we can't have a blank contract because then he'll have a $0 contract. So we have to wait. We could put a placeholder in there, but that's not reality. So it kind of doesn't work for us. So, anyway, so let's see what else we got. So the other thing that we were going to talk about before we do this mock draft thing is depth chart speculation. So, it's the NFL draft. Everything that happens has an implication for players. Some players probably went down in terms of their their position on the depth chart or their position, in terms of, I'm just adding this on the bottom here. So, yeah. So, some guys went up and some guys went down in terms of things. I'm just thinking out loud, like Michael Carter is not as valuable now as he was before the NFL draft.
Oh, 100%. Not with Breece Hall going there.
People are still going to draft Michael Carter. He's only $1 million and he's a running back and he'll play a little bit. But, if you had drafted before the NFL draft, you would have picked him a lot higher than you're going to pick him now. So he's definitely somebody whose stock has dropped. So I was looking through and I had a list and I sent you the list. You have some players. We can talk about some of them, or you can tell me there's a guy that I completely whiffed on and left out. Carter was at the top of my list, and the two guys who are at the second and third of my list are also running backs, and that was Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. I think the Kenneth Walker signing to me tells me Carson might not even be playing this year, and Penny could be on his way out after this year.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look at the updates on Chris Carson's injury because I'm not too familiar with it or anything, but it definitely seems like it's a real possibility that he's not on Seattle's roster come even training camp.
Yeah, I have another league that I have him on, and it's a regular Dynasty league, and they send regular updates basically anytime the Seattle paper publishes something. And basically every time it's like, we don't know what's going on with Chris Carson. We're not sure what's going on with Chris Carson. Speculation is that because they drafted Kenneth Walker, Chris Carson might not play. We don't know what, or Pete Carroll commenting, well, we hope he's okay, and maybe he'll be playing with us, and maybe he won't. So not exactly reassuring news for anybody who's got Chris Carson, and he's a hefty $5 million. But at this point, I'm kind of keeping him and just hoping that they do just kind of let him go, and then I can just drop him for free because the drop fee's over $1 million. Unless I need salary cap space, I think I'm just going to hang on to him and see what happens.
Yeah, you might as well, especially with the way the running back position looks. It's not unrealistic that he gets healthy and gets a job somewhere. If you don't need to cut him, then you can trade him for some draft picks or even keep him for production if you need to.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So I see there's a bunch of folks in here. Feel free to start chatting, see what's going on. Like I said, the big main event today in today's show is that we're going to do a live rookie mock draft, 3 rounds. There's 12 people ready to go and do that. But right now we're talking about depth charts and sort of who lost a little bit of luster in terms of that, or maybe even a job. So who's somebody who maybe you got them on a team, or you used to have them on a team? Who's somebody who you think really lost a lot of draft capital, startup draft capital, or even a roster spot on your teams?
The one that really stands out is Mitchell Trubisky. Everything looked so promising for him for a little while, and then the Steelers drafted a first-round quarterback, and Mike Tomlin's coming out and saying he's going to be competing for a starting job right away, and it just doesn't look good for the future of Trubisky. It looks like he's going to be a backup again.
Yeah, and everybody who picked him up, I mean, it's $7 million. It's not a big contract, but it's still $7 million, $7.1 million. And the corollary to that is that some people played a little game at the end of last year. I played the game too, and I took Mason. I grabbed Mason Rudolph because it was a $1 million bid, free agent auction bid. His salary was under $1 million, so you could fit him easily. You knew he was getting the $5 million contract. And so I did it and thinking, we'll see what the Steelers do in that sort of window of time. Do they sign a free agent or not? And then they signed Trubisky, and I was like, I'm getting rid of Rudolph. And then still have about a quarter of people kind of hung on to Rudolph right now, but 20%. But I can't see any reason to keep hanging on to him. I mean, if you want to have a third, if you don't have a 2 starting quarterbacks, or you want a third one, go find Jacoby Brissett or Teddy Bridgewater in the free agent auction if they're available. Honestly, I mean, Brissett's got a good chance of starting games this year, and he's cheaper.
Yeah, $5 million is too much to pay for a third string guy that's probably not going to see the field. And like you said, Jacoby Brissett, it's like 95% chance Watson misses games this year, if not 100% chance he misses games. So Brissett's gonna be on the field outside of a miracle happening, Cleveland keeping Mayfield for the season, but I highly doubt that happens.
Yeah, I would completely agree, and I'm going to look up Brissett. Brissett is rostered in only 46.8% of Dynasty Owner League. So, I mean, if you're still hanging on to Mason Rudolph and he's available, and Jacoby Brissett's available in your league, feel free to turn us off and go take care of that. And then I mean, I think that's basically what you kind of need to do. So, all right. So that was good. Next on my list was Marcus Mariota. I mean, and I think it's kind of the same thing that you talked about with Trubisky, in that, Desmond Ridder was a 3rd round pick, but, and we've talked about this before on the pod, and we do a pod day, and I do a podcast which comes out on Friday mornings. Arthur Smith went out and got Marcus Mariota, and they gave him a nice $9 million a year contract. Arthur Smith has benched him in the past, or maybe it wasn't Arthur Smith's decision. Maybe Mike Vrabel overruled Arthur Smith and said, we're benching Mariota, but he got benched by Arthur Smith before. It's possible it happens again.
Yeah, even without that, the Falcons roster is terrible. They're going to be a bad team this year. So I don't see, Mariota playing in week 13, week 14. He might get you 10 weeks of the season, but once they're, they got to have a bad record and nothing to look forward to, Desmond Ridder's going to get playing time. There's no reason for him not to at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and you probably knew this when they drafted Mariota, when they signed Mariota, and if you picked him up or you kept him for a while and have him and stuff like that. But I think it's pretty clear now. I mean, they didn't wait till like round 5 and grab a flyer. They grabbed somebody who can play for them. I mean, Ridder. I know he was the 3rd round, but he was still the 2nd quarterback taken.
Yeah, they took him over, Malik Willis, who everybody had above Kenny Pickett as well. So it's saying something that they took him there, and he's definitely going to get a chance at some point this year outside of the Falcons just having a miracle run of some sort.
Yeah. All right. Well, other people I was thinking about talking about here, and here's one who's kind of maybe a little bit under the radar, but I actually think this is one of the people who some people were very high on and now probably have faded, and that's I'm not going to pronounce his last name, but it's Albert O from the Broncos. We all know who I'm talking about. I mean, I think people kind of their eyes lit up when they thought about him. They're like, $1 million salary. He's going to be the tight end in Denver. He's going to have Russell Wilson throwing the ball to him, and all these other weapons. He'll be fine. And then Denver goes out and drafts a tight end in the third round. So
Yeah,
I think Albert O lost a lot of value.
yeah. I think they're going to give him a chance no matter what. I don't think they would have. I mean, obviously they're getting Russell Wilson, so they're going to do what they have to. But I think they would have moved somebody else outside of Noah Fant if they didn't have some type of faith in him.
Okay.
It does, and it takes tight ends a little while to develop. So, I mean, while it is worrisome, I'm not like completely worried about it, especially for this season.
Okay. I'm not saying that I'm completely worried about it, but I think in terms of, we don't have any drafts before, we don't have any real drafts before the NFL draft. So, we can't have a comparison, but if we did, I bet his ADP would be a lot higher if we had pre NFL drafts and now post NFL drafts.
Yeah.
I just think it's not, you're not thinking about him as much. You're not going to take him with as high of a pick as you were before. So I'm not saying he's going to not be the starter or, that he's going to sit on the bench all year and get you like 0 points. But I think you have to, if you have him on your roster, you better temper your expectations. Hopefully he's not your starter. That's what I would say. So
Yeah, I don't see Russell Wilson lighting it up through a tight end anyway. He's more of a wide receivers type quarterback. He's never really had much of a passing game to the tight end. So I don't really see why
okay.
that would all of a sudden change.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, if you think about, remember I'm going to look it up because I don't have it, but I think when we did our mock draft the other day, I swear somebody took Albert O very highly. I'm going to find it and see who it was or what we did. So, but I seem to remember somebody taking him a lot higher than I personally would have. Not that that's any benchmark, but okay.
Was it the champ?
The
Jeff?
champ took him at the end of the 10th round. So, I mean, that was right after the draft. I still think that's a little high personally, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I mean, Russell Wilson's never really had much of a premium tight end either. So, if this guy can develop well, it'll be worth it, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'll leave the next person we'll talk about to you. It's the next person on that list I get was Chase Claypool. So you're the Steelers fan. You know what's going on. Tell us if I'm right or wrong about his stock going down.
It had to have. I mean, I haven't really figured it out quite yet. I'm not too sure. Him and Claypool or Pickens and Claypool are very similar, but Deontay Johnson's also due a new contract after this season, and I'm not sure the Steelers are going to pay him, just especially with as well as they developed the wide receiver position. So if Deontay Johnson does leave, it's not really much of a knock on him. I don't see him affecting him a ton this year, but it's definitely worrisome. Yeah, but like I said, I'm not sure if it's for Deontay Johnson or if they're gonna. I have no idea what they're doing with it, but I just know they like the talent and I like Pickens a lot, and I still believe in Claypool as well.
Okay. I mean, if you have Claypool in a league, are you trading him or are you kind of hanging on to him or?
Oh, I'm definitely holding him just because of the way it looks right now. You know what I mean? Everybody's down on Claypool right now because of the Pickens pick. I mean, Pickens is a premier talent. He was just injured, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I'm 100% holding Claypool.
Okay. Anybody? We can do our live. We can do our picks we can do our rookie mock draft pick. We're going to join a room in about 10 to about 13 minutes. We're going to get started. So we'll do the random generator in a minute. But is there anybody else who you think really lost a lot on the depth chart, on his team's depth chart?
Corey Davis, definitely.
Okay.
I expect Elijah Moore to take another step forward this year. And then you got Garrett Wilson coming in. So it almost relegates him down to the third position on that depth chart. And I just don't see it happening for him, especially I'm not a huge Zach Wilson believer either. So I'm not seeing, a bunch of 400 passing yards games in New York. So I think it's a lot of Wilson and a lot of Moore this year.
Yeah, and you can throw Daniel Jones in there. I don't think anybody in the home using a home locker room in New York is going to throw for 400 yards this year. So
unless Mike White gets hot again,
or Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Corey Davis was on my list too, and the worst part for if you have him a dynasty owner is that he's $12.5 million. I mean, that's just a large chunk of change to be taking up for, like you said, for somebody who's a third receiver, at best the wide receiver 3 on a low end offense. I mean, I might be being generous. I would say a bad offense, but I don't want to insult Jets fans, but
you can justify paying Tyler Boyd something like that. You know what I mean? The third receiver on the Bengals, but not Corey Davis. It's just it's not feasible.
Agree. I mean, like you could pay Hunter Henry $12.5 million. I mean, it's not great investment. I have him a few places, but it's justifiable because he could start at tight end for you or be your bench tight end. But yeah, like you said, Corey, you can find a dozen guys better than Corey Davis who are less than $12.5 million. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I saw his roster percentage was 40% on Dynasty Owner when I was doing research earlier today, and I was kind of stunned. I thought that was really high.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I didn't see it. So all right, so are we ready? Let's do this random rookie mock draft. Okay, so rookie mock draft. Okay, we're gonna randomly pick spots for our live rookie mock draft that we're gonna do pretty much right now. So the idea here is that we're gonna do it. We got 12 owners. Tim is going to be in. He's going to join us in a little bit. The caveat is that Tim is unable to. He had a pick, so he took the 7 slot. So if you get the 7 slot here, whatever slot it says for Tim, you go join Tim's spot. So if you're already in and you're joining us and you're live on this and listening and stuff like that, when you get your draft slot, if you didn't select it properly, come out of it and go back into the slot if you don't mind. There's no prizes, there's no glory or anything for this, but I just wanted it to be fair because I'm sure it's much easier to pick from the 1 spot than it is from the 12 spot. So we'll make it interesting. All right, so let me do the always fun screen sharing. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I can accomplish this. And I've got this. Can we see this random draft order up? Is that working? Okay, here we go. There it is. Okay. So I've entered all 12 team names into our random draft order. We've got myself, the Fantastics. We've got Dynasty Owner Tim. We've got Jay Pounds, and his name is can't list because it's a family show. If you know Jay's team name, you'll know why I said that. So I'm not in the mood to get blocked on YouTube. Dave Delp is Big Grizz. He's joined us. We got Eli Padilla, who's Eli's team. Bryce Williams, who's Praise Cheeses. Tim Scrum, who last week said he wanted to join. I'm not sure if he's on, but his team is Skylantics. We've got Chris Wolf, who's Wolfpack 21. We've got Tyler Walker, Detroit's finest. We've got Joshua Riley, who is Jet Chip Wasp. He was one of our mock drafters in our whoops, wrong one. I wanted to do it differently. So try it like this, make it bigger. There we go. Joshua Riley, Anthony Zanobi, who's Smokers Haven, and Nick Rockwell, who's New England Minutemen. I like that name, Nick. All right, so we're going to just go through this. We're going to hit the generate random order button, and then you guys, everybody here can join their spot. Like I said, if you get the number 7 spot, and your name's not Dynasty Owner Tim, then you need to join Tim's spot. So we ready?
Let's do it.
You ready, Jay? All right, here we go. Generate draft order. See what happened. Oh, I got the 7.
I get to stay where I'm at.
I got the 7, so I gotta join on the. I gotta join the 2 spot so Tim can stay in the 7. Oh, well, that's not a bad spot, so I'm not gonna complain. All right, so I'm gonna join right now. I got the 2 spot. That's actually not too bad. And for everybody who wants to know, we're in the going to be in the Becky the Icebox O'Shea room. All right, praise Jesus, you need to get out of my spot. So I'm going to share this. We got 7 minutes till we do this. So let me do some screen sharing again. We'll take that off. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this again. I know what I need to do. All right. So I need to open that up in a new window. This is very exciting. This is very exciting watching, I'm sure, on YouTube. So come on, give us some chat. Tell us what's going on. So yeah, they need to, like Eli said, you need to log. If you're in, you need to log out and then join back in. So yeah.
Yeah, just hit leave room and then
just hit, yeah, exactly. Just hit leave room and then hopefully you can do that. So, all right. So let's go over the order. If I have to go over the order. So Nick Rockwell, New England Minutemen, you got the 1 spot. I'm sorry. I should have done this. I took it off the screen too fast. I was all excited about my pick, and then I forgot to leave it up for everybody. So, all right, let me reshare that. So, sorry if you're doing this and you're wondering where you are and you're on the order. All right, so we'll do the announcement here. So, all right, if everybody can see that, toggling between windows here, I'd say like a champ, but I know I'm not doing it like a champ. I'm doing it like somebody else. So Nick Rockwell, you got the 1st spot, New England Minutemen. Dynasty Owner Tim got the 2nd spot, which means he switches with me. So because I had the 7th slot. Jay, whose team name we can't list because it's a family show, you're in the 3 spot. Bryce, you're in the 4 spot. Eli Padilla, you're in the 5th spot. Tyler, you are in the 6th spot. Tim's in the 7th spot. Dave Delp, you're in the 8th spot. Joshua, you're in the 9th spot. Tim Scrum, if you're here, you're in the 10th spot. Chris Wolf, you're in the 11th spot. And Anthony, you are in the 12th spot. So I know I need to send at least one message on Twitter to tell somebody where they are going. So
let's see here. Where was Jet Chip Wasp? I'll send him a message now.
Yep. Okay. So let's see what's going on. So all right, yeah, he was on the chat there. Jet Chip Wasp, if you're listening, you're number 9. Let's see if people have gotten